We go to the phones, and joining us right now, the senior senator from the state of Texas, U.S. Senator John Cornyn. Senator Cornyn, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Chad. Good to be with you.
Well, glad to have you on today. You'll be in Lubbock a little bit later on today for a luncheon, correct?
Yeah, I'm going to be up in Lubbock in Amarillo to talk to the chamber and to learn a little bit more about some of the Texas Tech wind power research efforts, and up in the Amarillo area to talk a little bit about STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math education there. So I'm looking forward to the visits.
Well, excellent. Well, we'll be glad to have you out here on the South Plains. And one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, and of course there's a lot that we could talk about that's in the news, but let's start off with trade. Because that seems to be one of the issues that obviously over the past week it's kind of been swept under the rug a little bit with all the Supreme Court rulings, but this is still something that is a very big deal and something that has been a controversial issue even within the Republican Party. You voted for the TPA part of this trade. Tell us why and why you believe it's a good thing for the United States.
Well, it is confusing, I admit, with all the activity and the hijinks in Congress on this. But here's my bottom line. Texas is the number one exporting state in the nation, and that's one reason why our economy is so strong, because we've seen the benefits of having markets outside of our state and around the world for the agricultural products that we grow and the livestock we raise, and the manufactured goods we make. And this TPA is known as fast track, but basically what it does is a 6-year authorization for the president, and it's not just this president. Obviously, he's only going to be there for a year and a half more, thank goodness. But for the next president to negotiate future trade deals, which will come before the Congress under this procedure. We'll all be able to read it, including your listeners, and see whether we think it's good for Texas and good for the country. Then we'll have an up or down vote on whether to pass it or not. So that's why I supported it. And even though I disagree with President Obama most of the time, he wasn't wrong in this one instance. And so look for the opportunity to work together to do good things for Texas and for the country.
Yeah, I've had other lawmakers on to talk about this, including Congressman Randy Nagelbauer, and there were, what he brought up were the myths versus reality of this trade bill, because I think it's something that a lot of lawmakers have said. There's a lot of information going around that just isn't true. So what are the things that you would like to clarify about this whole trade bill?
Well, there was some objection on the part of some conservatives saying, why would you give the president more authority since he's abused the authority he has? And I get that. I understand that. There's nobody, from my perspective, has been more lawless when it comes to overreaching his authority than this president. But like I said a moment ago, he isn't wrong 100% of the time, and this is just one case where I thought we could probably work together to do some good things. The problem we've got with this president is, things that we would like as conservatives to pass. He's got that veto pen, and it's going to be really hard. It has been hard to get things past him. Things like the Keystone XL pipeline is just one example, and so. In some ways, we're playing a little bit of a waiting game until he's gone to be able to get a presidential signature on changes in the law. But I thought this was a modest step in the right direction. And again, our economy needs to grow, and our producers need markets for the things they make and grow.
Visiting with U.S. Senator John Cornyn. Now, you mentioned it earlier, and I just want to get clarification on this. There are other parts of this trade bill that will have to be passed, or this trade agreement, all the different T's of the TPP and everything else. It's been said that those are not available to read, but you mentioned earlier those will be available for everybody to read, including lawmakers, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, I think the confusion there, Chad, was that the Trade Promotion Authority, which is basically the structure by which these are negotiated, which is the Fast Track Authority, was what we voted on. The trade deal itself is going to be coming to us in the next months, and then that will be a public document, and everybody will be able to read it, and we'll then vote it up or down.
Only have a few minutes left, and there's still so much to get to. Let's get to Obamacare, the Supreme Court ruling from last week on subsidies. I guess the now where do we go from here type of question. Is there anything in your mind Congress can do to continue to fight Obamacare, or is it a simple case of get a Republican president in the White House and then we can repeal Obamacare? Or is it just too ingrained, as the president has said before, it's now just too ingrained in the American fabric that there's no way of repealing it and getting rid of it?
Well, I think we need to continue our fights in Congress, and we need a president elected in 2016 who will be the one who will sign a law that repeals it and replaces with a market-driven policy that will help bring down prices and give people the choices they want. But the point you alluded to is that President Obama is unlikely to sign any of that in the next 16 or 18 months he's in office. So we need to continue the fight. My prediction is we'll have another repeal vote in the Senate, and hopefully put that on the president's desk just to make clear that he owns this with all the warts and wrinkles and problems that Obamacare has. Of course, this was sold under false pretenses, Chad, as you know, and it's proven to be a disaster for a lot of people who lost the policies they like, and those who've seen their premiums go up by high double digits, and who've been left with huge deductibles, which effectively have left them self-insured. So this is a disaster for a lot of people and for the country. I think it's been bad for the economy too, and I think we just need to keep the fight going. But I think as a practical matter, we're not going to be able to repeal it until we get a new president.
What were your thoughts on the Supreme Court ruling on gay marriage, and where do you fall on the argument, states fight it, or, okay, Republicans, it's time to move on to something else?
Well, I don't believe it's time to move on. I'm a strong believer in traditional marriage, and one of the things that offends me the most about the Supreme Court decision is that they, of course, found this so-called right in the Constitution, even though for the last 130 years or so, 230 years, we've had no suggestion that the Constitution included this kind of right. So it's pretty clear to me they kind of made it up. But the most offensive part of it is that they suggest that people who hold a strong belief in traditional marriage because of their religious faith and teachings, that they are somehow bigots. And that can't be true. The world's largest religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, all believe in traditional marriage. And everybody who is an adherent to those religious teachings can't be branded bigots. So that's, I think, is going to be one of the next battles we're going to be fighting, because I think that some of the folks who are promoting this new constitutional right, so to speak, are not going to stop there, and they're going to claim that church, schools, and other faith-based organizations are going to somehow have to sacrifice the tenets of their religion, or they're going to be required to give up government grants, loans, tax credits, and things like that.
Sounds like we have some big fights ahead of us.
I think that's right. It's really a fight for the culture. And, I see the country under President Obama starting to look more like Europe than America. And that's why this 2016 election is so critical, and to clean up so much of the damage that's been done during the last 7 years. U.S.
Senator John Cornyn, appreciate your time today. We'll visit with you again down the road.
Thanks, Chad.
Have a good one. That's U.S. Senator John Cornyn.